Welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. It's time to take a look at GPU prices in May of 2024. And oh my goodness, AMD and NVIDIA have some things on absolute fire sale right now. Of course, we were expecting huge announcements at Computex with the RTX 5090 and 5080 in just a month. But is NVIDIA pulling the rug out from under us and we're not gonna get them? We'll also talk about whether or not Battle Mage is canceled and the best GPUs to buy right now for 1080p, 1440p, and 4K. If you get value out of this video, please give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe, click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. With that, let's jump into it. This video is sponsored by Salad, where you can use your PC's idle time to earn real rewards like games, gift cards, and more. When you're not using your PC, it becomes part of the Salad network for computational tasks like AI, video rendering, and audio transcription. If you own an RTX 3060 or better GPU, you can become a Salad power user, earning up to $180 a month in rewards. So when you're not gaming, start up the Salad app and cook up some cash. Your PC's hardware work is rewarded with games, gift cards, Discord Nitro, and other epic loot. Click the link in the video description to start earning with Salad. Let's jump into 2024 GPU prices in May. Let's start off on the AMD side because they are working really hard to fire sale, absolutely fire sale some of their RX 6000 series GPUs that have been insane performers, and I know they want to get rid of them there. But let's start off at the top. 7900 XTX basically maintains its price position at $899 right now. You can see the Sapphire Pulse model. I was actually surprised to see the Yestron model right here, although that's an $80 promotional gift card. You can determine whether or not that's a real discount or not. Then we got the 7900 XT, $689. Again, maintains that insane price to performance right now. You can get the ASRock Phantom Gaming one for that. You can get the Sapphire Pulse, $699 plus the promo code. You can even get the white one for like $10 more. Pretty insane if you want to do an all-white build right now. Moving over to the 7900 GRE, great card, $529, down to $529. Really kind of hard to believe that this card, it launched not that long ago for $550. We're already seeing the price discounts. We'll get to the huge price discounts on the 7700 XC and others, but right now you can get like the Power Color Fighter one, $549 with a $20 promo code. Some of the other ones, even the white ones, you can get for a little bit cheaper. 7800 XT maintains that great price at $479. There's actually a couple models available at $479, but let's jump into the 7700 XT, which saw more price cuts. So it's gone from $450 to $409 to $399 to $379. That's right, $379. Great deal for it right now. You can get the ASRock Challenger one. You can get for $389, you can pick up the Sapphire Pulse. Really good model. I'm really hopeful this is gonna slot in there and give us a huge performance bump at about the $350 price range. 7600 XT, nothing to write home about. It did go down another $10, kind of back to its March price of $319. It's not the best performer though when you have the 6700 and 6750 XT out there for an insane $295 price. And I will say, they seem to be gone all of a sudden. I was literally, this right here was the $295 one. It literally just sold out as I hit refresh on the page. I'm like, no. What they had been doing with these is they had been taking, as these all sold out, you can see there was a $289 here, this one right here with a $10 promo code. As these individual models were selling out at Newegg, they were just taking the next one up basically and applying a similar price code. So hopefully they do that with what's left here. You know, they've got a couple of ASRock models in here, but that's really all that is left. All that's left for the 6700 XT and the 6750 XT, which was as low as $289. I did check on Amazon as well. As soon as it sold out in Newegg, it looked like Amazon pricing algorithm popped the price back up to what they normally charge for it, more like $320. Still a great price for this GPU, just not as insanely priced as it was. And then we got some minor discounts on like the 6650 XT. I think AMD's about ready to start liquidating that as well. 6600, no real change. Taking a quick look over at Intel GPUs, and man, have we got some bad news on the Intel GPU front for you in the news section. Well, let's wait for that. Let's take a look at the current pricing. Not a lot of change right now. Still $279 for the A770. The A750 went up about $10, but otherwise unchanged. You actually have quite a few models. 16 gigabyte GPU. It's actually the cheapest 16 gigabyte GPU right now. That's the ARC A770. Over at the A750, again, they're very competitive with the A580. I'm not really sure that they're able to differentiate these two products. That's why I think the price on this is falling, but insane insanely cheap, $164 on the ARC A580. And in our recent best budget gaming builds, we did a build with this card, and we got it right around $500 US. That was pretty insane. Check that video out if you haven't seen it. Let's jump into NVIDIA GPU prices in May 2024, and this is ahead of all the launches and announcements and everything we're expecting in the next month. Let's punch through this really quickly because the key word here seems to be some of these GPUs seem to be completely going away. No real surprise. RTX 4090, let's start there. The good news is that GPU price is down to $1,729, down 4% from last month. You can get the PNY one. You can get an ASUS TUF one for a little bit cheaper. And one of the things is, remember, there were none of these in stock. They are back in stock. Now, of course, you're going to pay a bit more of a price premium for some of these GPUs that are the kind of the insane overclocked versions of them, but they're back in stock. There's no longer any shortage of them right now. The RTX 4080 Super and 4080 down to $989. I was a little suspicious back in March. You'll recall that whether or not we were going to get any of these models in around that $999 price point, the MSRP out there. Now, I will say, it doesn't seem like we're going to get many of the known board partners, so MSI, Gigabyte, ASUS, etc. What we're getting instead is like PNY, Zotac, and others in place of the ASUS, the Gigabytes, and the MSIs out there. But I will say it's not a huge price disparity right now. It does cost about $60 more for the MSI gaming one, but if you want $989, you can get the PNY, kind of the more lower end model. You can get the Zotac gaming one. These are good models. They all have good ratings on them right now. 4070 Ti Super, good news, continues price declines at least around its MSRP, $789 again. Zotac leading the way. In fact, it's the white one. It's a nice card, $819 with a $30 promo code on it. There's a number of other ones here for right around the MSRP, including some of the nicer Gigabyte cards as well. But the 4070 Ti, you're like, what's going on with that GPU? I thought that should be coming down. Instead, it's going up $739, almost up 10%. Kind of insane. And the reason for that is you can see, very few models is left. I'm kind of surprised. I will be honest. I'm surprised anybody is buying this GPU for this price. It just doesn't make any sense. There's better offerings out there. You pay $50 more and you get the 4070 Ti Super. So I just don't know why anyone will buy these. And yet they do seem to be running out. 4070 Super down a couple of bucks to $584 right now. $584, not a terrible price for it. Again, Zotac and PNY are leading the way in terms of its overall discounts, but you can pick up like the Gigabyte one, the WindForce, which we have, great card. The ASUS Dual, another good card out there for right at the MSRP. RTX 4070, I was prepared to tell you this card was completely being liquidated. However, it looks like maybe they got kind of a late shipment of RTX 4070s in, so now there are a couple more models in here than there were, but you can see out of stock, kind of looking like the 6750 XT page, to be honest, or 6700 XT page for AMD. Right now, though, they just threw a promo code on this Gigabyte RTX 4070, $520 or $539, not the worst price. 4060 Ti, another one where the MSRP models appear to be all that's left, or you're going to pay more than MSRP for them right now. And this is another GPU where it looks like they're going away quite rapidly. The 4060 8GB ones just fine. The 16GB ones seem to be running out. Remember, they're clamshelling the RAM on this. They've got to be kind of expensive to produce for what they are. But right now you get the Zotac one, PNY, and then all of a sudden you're paying like $500+ insane, or they're completely out of stock. Maybe this GPU is going away entirely. All right, in the 3060 12GB, as I was recording this, we got some price cuts at Newegg, so I've changed the number in the spreadsheet. It said 289, now it says 269, 7% decrease out there. It's a Zotac card. It's not the best reviewed. It's only got 4 reviews though, so it's 2 positive, 2 negative reviews. It's got 3 out of 5 stars on it, but then you can pick up like the Yestron one for $279. If you want more than name brand kind of cards, you're definitely still paying that $289 or $299 price. Let's jump into the GPU news, and my goodness, my head is spinning here, absolutely spinning. Let's start off talking about the RTX 5090 and 5080. Are they going to be announced at Computex? In fact, that's all the information that we got previously, like a week ago, that they were definitely going to come to Computex. We were going to get the 5090 for sure announced, at least announced. And the rationale behind that was basically, hey, NVIDIA wants to speed up all of their AI production. The gaming chips are based on the AI architecture of Blackwell. You're going to know the specs, so why not go ahead and announce them at Computex, at least paper launch these, possibly in the earlier parts of the third quarter, maybe late parts of the third quarter. Who knows? But there was expected to be an announcement at Computex. All of a sudden, we got a leak here of ASUS's. Now, this is one of NVIDIA's board partners, also one of AMD's board partners, but one of NVIDIA's board partners of their products that are being launched or kind of demonstrated at Computex. Guess what's not on there? No 5090, no 5090, no 5080. Now people are saying, okay, maybe if that's the case, maybe we won't get this announcement at Computex. I'm going to be honest with you. Don't hold your breath for anything at the same time. We'll talk more about this in should you buy now or should you wait. If you're at the high end, you got to just hold on for another couple weeks to see what NVIDIA says, because NVIDIA loves to pull this crap. Will they, won't they? Will they, won't they? Will they, won't they? They want to use this to kind of drum up interest in everything. So maybe they're going to announce it. Maybe there's a separate list for the ASUS GPUs. We just don't know right now at all. Speaking of the will they, won't they, are we going to get the RTX 5080? At first we were told we're only getting the 5090 this year. Then no, we'll also get the 5080, but later this year. Then we're told the 5080 is going to be announced at Computex with the 5090. Now we're told that maybe the 5090 is going to be delayed because of reasons. And we're going to get the 5080 first, the 5080 first. So again, my head is spinning. This is the silly season for these kinds of leaks and rumors right now, the absolute silly season. And the only reason I even bring this up normally is just kind of so you get a picture whether or not you should buy a GPU now or whether you should wait for something. Obviously with Computex right around the corner, remember, NVIDIA is going to have an announcement on June 2nd. AMD's announcement is going to be June 3rd. We're expecting the leaks and rumors suggest Ryzen 9000 from then, but possibly even Radeon RX 8000 series GPUs, some people are saying right now. So again, this is the silly season where some people are just making stuff up. Some people are actually leaking real information out there. But Koppai basically is a known leaker and has had a track record leaking stuff successfully in the past. He's saying it's not true that we're going to get the 5090 first. The 5080 is the one that's going to actually come first. So just hold on to your hats for June 2nd right now. One terrible piece of news, potentially terrible piece of news that we just got, however, was a leaker is basically saying, despite the fact that just last month we got reports that we were to expect Battlemage dedicated GPUs, discrete GPUs, by Black Friday, that's shopping season here in fall 2024, that in fact, they may be canceled along with Celestial. Now, they're talking about the discrete cards that you're going to plug in your PC. It's not really clear to me whether or not they're also talking about the potential mobile ones for laptop. It does appear that no matter what, that the integrated graphics, like on your CPU, when you have integrated graphics, that will be based on Battlemage and Celestial in the future. Those are going to survive. However, whether or not they're going to make actual GPUs for our PCs seems a lot in doubt right now. We'll just have to wait and see, but I really hope this is incorrect because we want to see AMD and NVIDIA and Intel make GPUs. I would love NVIDIA to make CPUs and have massive amounts of competition in the space right now. So any of this stuff, even if you didn't want to buy an Intel GPU, it just hurts a little bit. Let's jump into the best GPU 2024 in May. If you're not familiar with how we do this, we basically take all the GPUs that we're tracking, 8 gigs or more of VRAM, either used or new, and we put in the pricing, either used or new, as well as the performance. And we get a price to performance. And then we sort the cards by best under $200, best GPU for 1080p, best GPU for 1440p, 1440p, 240 Hz, and 4K. And if you want to jump into the spreadsheet, there's instructions here. I leave a link to this down in the video description, so check that out. These are all US-based prices. US-based prices, so you can put in your own prices and get some new results. Let's jump into the best GPU under $200 in May 2024. And I just want a word of caution here on these results. We don't typically go through the used market anymore. There's just not a lot of interest in it. But I will say it looks like a couple of mining firms that were holding out with tons and tons of older cards have just dumped them on the market. So it has depressed used pricing a little bit. RX 590, I'm just going to cast out on that at the top result that I don't think you're going to be able to find one of those cards. If you can, great value. Otherwise, I'd look at the RX 580 for $73. But the GTX 1080, if you can't find those for right around $100, absolutely insane value. Otherwise, pick up that GTX 1070 or 1070 Ti. Other cards that are kind of depressed in terms of their price because of that huge GPU mining dump was like the 1080 Ti. I'm not sure that's a real price at $145. And honestly, for me, I really do love the ARC A580. I'll just scroll down here to the more bottom of the page. The ARC A580, $165. I know I just cast out on whether or not they're going to exist or not, but still great value GPU. Of course, the RX 6600 down there at $189. If you don't want to worry about the future GPU, don't want to worry about the future GPU upgrades, and you want something brand new, that's the card to get. Let's jump into our best new GPU options under $300. Under $300. Obviously, we talked about the ARC A580. You got the ARC A750 as well. It's not a huge performance bump up. Very similar to the RX 6600, a 6650 XT for about $20 more. So again, if you're afraid of the driver issues, maybe that's the GPU to get. Obviously, if you can find a 6700 or 6750 XT 12 gigabyte GPU for that $295 price, and I'm fingers crossed Newegg is just going to keep doing what they've already done, which is just drop the next GPU down to that price because they've already done it 3 or 4 times now. That would be an insane value. And when they do it, Amazon typically follows with discounts on Amazon as well. So keep your eyes posted if that's about your price point out there. The rest of the GPUs here, it depends on your needs really. I wouldn't really go past the 7600 if you only want 8 gigs. The RTX 3060 12 gigabyte, probably your next stop if you want 12 gigs of VRAM or more than 8 gigs, and you don't want to spend $300-ish. Let's jump into the best 1440p GPU. And the way we do this is it's under $600. The GPU score has to be at least an RTX 3060 12 gigabyte or more. That'll give you 60 average FPS or across a wide range of titles at ultra settings, and 12 gigs or more of VRAM. It says top 15, it's really top 16 because it just kind of seemed silly to leave out the 4060 Ti here at the bottom. And it's a terrible GPU. You can see, look at the terrible value compared to everything else here. Obviously, if you have access to a used RX 6800, that GPU, at least in the US, has also been available for as little as $330, $340 US at Newegg, if you can find that. 6800 XT, similar. If you can find a good used value out there for about $370, 2 thumbs up. But let's talk about new values. We talked about the 6700, 6750 XT, which are phenomenal. But the 7700 XT is basically kind of bubbling up as the next best new value out there. And it's a good value too. It's quite a bit more performant than the 6700 XT. And it's starting to slot right into that kind of $379 price point, which is 2 thumbs up. Hopefully it just kind of keeps creeping down. That's the price, remember, that I said when that GPU launched or they were announcing it, that's where it really should fall. $379 to $399 is finally getting there. So 2 thumbs up. 7800 XT continues to be an insane value, $479. You do get the 16 gigs of VRAM as well. It's hard to beat that option. 7900 GRE, basically the same price to performance. You just want a little bit more performance, spend about $50, and that's what you get. The rest of the GPUs do become kind of hard to recommend. Obviously, the RX 7600 XT, $319 is just kind of a no man's price for that, especially when the 7700 XT has come down. Just spend the extra money. It is way better GPU than the 7600 XT. And if you can find the 6700 XT for less than $300, why wouldn't you get that? RTX 3060 and 4070, they're just not looking good. Not looking good in terms of their value right now. I don't know why the 3060 doesn't come down in price. Jumping over the best 1440p, 240Hz GPU. So this is where the GPU score is 180 or greater, 12 gigs or more VRAM. And I just limit it to the top 10. Just keep this super simple here. We'll ignore the used values, although I do want to mention the RTX 3080 12 gigabyte 3080 Ti, also with 12 gigabytes. The reason those have really kind of popped to the top of the chart along with the 6900 XT, 6950 XT is just because it looks like a lot of those used mining ones were dumped in the last month. So the used price definitely came down. I think it came down like 20 or 30 bucks, which definitely improved its value proposition. But in this price class, you're typically looking for something brand new if you can get it, right? Brand new if you can get it. 7800 XT, 7900 GRE, we already talked about those phenomenal values. The 4070 Super, it's a tough one because to me, too expensive for 12 gigs. Too expensive. That card should be $500-ish, maybe even less than that. because it's only have 12 gigs of VRAM. The more I think about this, in the past, would you rather have 5700 XT or the 2060 Super, which sold for the same price? Well, now you'd rather have the 5700 XT, way better performance. Would you rather have had the 3070 8GB GPU or the 6800 non-XT 16GB GPU? Well, obviously, you'd want the 16 gigs and the 6800 performs better. And I just kind of feel like in the future, we're just going to say the same thing about the 4070 Super. So I don't mean to dump on that card. I know some people who absolutely have to have NVIDIA. Maybe that's the value for you out there. It just seems to not be a great value. Jumping over the best 4K GPU in May 2024, and this is before all the new ones launch. Let's see where we're at right now. And this is where the GPU score is 200 or greater, and we got 16 gigs or more of VRAM, because that's really what you need, I think, in order to call it a 4K GPU in 2024. 7800 XT, basically good for like 60 to 70, 80 average FPS across a wide range of titles and hard to run settings, and hard to run titles. Obviously, competitive title stuff, you can get a lot more frames than that. 7900 XT is a GPU that I use all the time to play at 4K. Phenomenal performer and great price to performance. 700 XTX, that $899 price, it looks, I think, a little bit better than it maybe is to me, because you got to get a bigger power supply. It's not that much more performative than the 7900 XT. I would like to see that GPU come down a little bit more. Now, the 4070 Ti Super, is a card that I've continued to recommend. I think that is the true 4080 card out there. I'm using air quotes because NVIDIA obviously named a dozen cards 4080. Right? So the 4070 Ti Super is what we really should have gotten as the 4080. I think that's a good card. I think you can consider things like, DLSS, and you can consider, ray tracing at 4K, and that card is strong enough for both of those. It is interesting now that the 4080 Super is back to kind of a $900-ish price rather than like a $1,200 price where we were like for a couple of months. That GPU is also one I would consider, but if you look at the price to performance, not good. You're really starting to lose out. And obviously the 4090 it's the king of GPUs right now, but the question is it going to be the king of GPUs this time next month? Let's play everyone's favorite game. Should you buy now or should you wait? What a conundrum. We are weeks away as I'm filming this from announcements at Computex. June 2nd is going to be NVIDIA. June 3rd is AMD. We are pretty sure we're going to get Ryzen 9000 announced there. However, will we get any GPU announcements? That's the big question mark. Or are we going to end up waiting to the fall, possibly even 2025? I just feel like we're being super strung along by all these companies right now as they float these trial balloons and see where we're at. But let's go budget by budget. Budget by budget right now. At the ultra budget, doesn't matter what gets announced at Computex. It ain't coming for you. Ain't coming for you at the budget and the ultra budget level. The cards that you want to focus in on under $200 is A750, A580, and the RX 6600. Under $300, if you can find a 6700 XT or 6750 XT, 12GB GPU for right around $300, maybe $320. That great value still. And then of course we go more into the mid-range, 7700 XT, 12GB GPU, finally at $379. That's a super good value. That is a super good value. And it doesn't even matter if RX 8000 comes sooner rather than later. It's still a great value. $379, you get gaming now, you get play all the fun games. Then as we get more to the mid-range, should you wait? I don't see a big impact just yet until we get Radeon 8000, RX 8000, which some people say we're not even going to get until 2025. So just not worth waiting. Battle Mage is big question mark. Basically, you're waiting for the 5090 and 5080. That's the high end. So 7800 XT looks good. Heck, maybe even the 7900 XT looks good right now. So those are good values out there, I think, in this market. Possibly the 4070 Ti Super out there as well. It just depends. If the 5080 pricing comes in a lot better than we're expecting $1,000 plus, right? $1,200-ish for that card, then it's a totally different price class. And you're talking about almost RTX 4090 money. So anything over that, though, I think that's kind of the yellow zone. I think the red zone is if you're looking to spend $1,000 or more on your GPU, just time out on the field. Do not buy anything until we get those announcements. It may change nothing. And maybe you'll miss out on, $10 or $20 on a sale or something like that. I would just do yourself a solid here, especially if you were thinking about a 4090. do yourself a solid and push the pause button on anything higher end right now. If you got value out of this video, hey, please give it a like because it makes a huge difference to the channel, and subscribe, click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. What kind of cool content? Our best SSD 2024 video just came out, and it's an insane time to build a budget gaming PC, including great values on CPUs, GPUs, motherboards, and others. Check out this video right here for that, and we'll catch you on the next one.